evil, profound immorality and wickedness, especially when regarded as a supernatural force. Across media, whether it be TV shows, movies, films, or books, evil has been a constant moving force throughout all stories, ranging from Darth Vader in the Star Wars series all the way to the curses from JJK. Evil comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms, and whether it be done good or bad, this concept is so interwoven with human nature that our tales would simply fall apart without it. For example, imagine how the story of the Bible would unfold if the snake didn't convince Eve to eat the apple. Secondly, imagine the Sand Saga without the Sands catching any bodies, or better yet, imagine Berserk if Griffith didn't backdoor his entire squad. I could list more examples, but you can see my point. Antagonists are so vital to the development of any story, as without them, not only would there be zero change, but the characters would cease to grow. But there's a difference. Antagonists are those whose views and actions directly oppose the protagonist. Meanwhile, evil characters are those whose actions challenge the morality of God himself. Off rip, we gotta talk about the king of curses from Jujutsukaisen, Ryomen Sukuna. This man is one of my favorite villains to come out in the new era, mainly because simply off the fact that this man is pure evil. There's not a single scene in this show where this man isn't doing some evil shit. Exhibit A. When this man first appeared in chapter 1, the first thing this man said, and I quote verbatim, was, "Where are the people, the woman? What a wonderful age it has become. Women and children spawning like maggots. Marvelous. It will be a massacre." My brother in Christ, what is wrong with you? This nigga basically woke up from a nap, rubbed his eyes, ripped his shirt off, and said, "Where is my prey?" Like, dog, you just woke up. And that's not even the worst of it. Let's go ahead and head on to Exhibit B. When this man finally appeared in Shibuya, this man told Jogo, one of the strongest characters in the show, to move. And you know what he did? This man changed his ways instantly. Bro went from Sir to Sire in the span of 3 seconds. Furthermore, this man's first comment on Sukuna was how this man's strength was entirely different from Gojo's. Was that the aura this man resonated was that of pure malice. I don't think y'all realize how much of a deal this is. Jogo is a cursed spirit, and in the world of JJK, cursed spirits are born off negative emotions. This can be fear, disgust, and hate. And Jogo was born off humanity's fear of fire, hence why this nigga has flame powers and all that. And Jogo, a cursed spirit who is basically pure evil, called Sukuna out on how ungodly he is.
Back in my day, I was one of Satan's greatest soldiers, you hear me? Just felt penance in this stir. Used to hate on a nigga, slide on him, pack his ass up and send him to God, bro. Make a nigga mama cry and go back to hate on the next nigga.
Because not only does this man Sukuna catch his UAV in Shibuya, basically killing hundreds if not thousands of people. When he first spawned in, there were 2 girls who helped awaken Sukuna. They asked him to kill Kenjaku, aka the second biggest threat in this entire show. And you know what this man did? This man Sukuna was like, yo, that's crazy. Mick! And with not a bit of sympathy, he kills both of them. And the worst part about it, this man is not evil to prove a point or to have a goal. He is evil strictly for the love of the game. During his fight with Jogo, the disaster spirit summons a whole meteor, and obviously the other sorcerers and combatants in the area are like, oh no, we gotta skedaddle. And as Kusakabe and Panda try to flee, Sukuna tells everyone in the area to stop in their tracks. Now, as you might be asking yourself, why did he do this? And the answer to that question is fairly simple, my friend. He just felt like it. My next point from Sukuna comes from the manga, obvious spoiler warning. And it is when Sukuna is talking to Kashimo after knocking bro off the map. Kashimo and Sukuna are having a conversation about how the strong are recognized for their strength and how that relates to love and kindness, and how Sukuna, since he is the strongest, would understand those feelings the most. And this man Sukuna says, I understand love, I just don't care about it. I eat when I want, I sleep when I want, kill when I want, and I smash when I want. In short, Sukuna said, I I don't do this for a reason or to prove a point. I do it because I want to, and this is why I can't get behind the idea that this man is a broken villain, because it is clear that through his words and his actions that this man is evil to the core. And we cannot talk about pure evil villains without talking about the one that kickstarted it all, the Emperor of the Universe,
Lord Frieza, yes?
Awesome! I'ma deck you in the schnoz.
Lord Frieza is one of the most iconic villains in anime history, and it's for good reason. This man wrote the book on villainy and set the standard for pure evil villains, and honestly, these type of villains gotta be some of my favorites of all time. They don't have a tragic past or have a deep defined reason for why they do what they do. They just do it for the love of the game, and this man is no different. It is clear from the jump that this man enjoys killing, just how Twitter niggas love complaining. Man, this series is so over, man. Shut up, man. But this man Frieza was moving filthy during the entire Namek arc. Not only does he have a top 10 villain entrance in all of Shonen, but he also instilled fear in the entire cast. There are several times throughout this arc where characters are like, gang, I ain't gonna hold you, we should have never messed with this man. Hell, King Kai told Goku that when he was heading off to Namek to avoid Frieza, and you know Goku's fight sexual ass was not going to heed any warning, and that would come at a cost, because even Goku, the face of never giving up, was having second thoughts in this fight. And this proves once again why Toriyama is the undisputed GOAT. He, to this day, is one of the best in the game at writing despair. And I'll point you to this scene right here. We cut to the Goku vs Frieza fight, and my GOAT Goku is getting dragged. I kid you not. This man was getting his ass beat for over 2+ chapters in the manga. It is rare to see main characters get dogged like this for over 2 weeks in real time. Like, that's wild. This man was getting his ass whooped, and it was about to be over as Frieza had his grippers on this man's scalp, about to give that man that, you know what I'm saying, that drowning treatment. The submariners can relate, but as he's about to give in to despair, Vegeta pulls up in his mind, gives him a pep talk, and tells him how he is the last of the Saiyans and how he has to avenge his peoples. And after the pep talk from Vegeta, my GOAT locks in into one of the most slept on scenes in the entire show, powers up to Kaioken times 20 in a desperate attempt to subdue the tyrant. He launches a Kamehameha, but when the smoke clears, it is shown that this man Frieza took practically 0 damage from that attack. And this is when you can see the blatant fear written on Goku's face. This is the look of someone who's thinking,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
And there are several points before and after this fight when Frieza was so close to putting this man out of commission. And that's not even the end of it, because this man Frieza gotta be one of the most racist anime villains of all time. This man spams more racial slurs than clan meetings in 1925. The first time this man pulled up to Planet Vegeta, he greets them like this.
Hello, monkeys.
And that's not the worst part. In the DBS manga, Frieza found out that he could upgrade not only his power, but his racism as well. Because as he pulls up to the scene, he unveils his new blackface form that he unlocked from trading with Robert E. Lee. Got him looking like the maid leading the minstrel show. And you know Frieza's racist ass was putting up prime Wilt Chamberlain numbers on Xbox 360 Modern Warfare 2. He was using discriminatory words that we've never even heard of. And yeah, that about wraps it up for the Emperor of the Universe. And now we gotta transition into a character that a lot of y'all may not even heard of, and he comes from the Beyblade universe. Hey, bro, bitch, you're doing me right now. Hey, who you talking to? Cause I know it ain't me. Wait, what the fuck? Y'all hear that? I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, gang, I hear too. Hear it? No, I can taste it. This present is so potent. Wait, no, it can't be. It's Ryuga, the GOAT. This man Ryuga gotta be one of the coldest characters I done ever seen in my life. He was really out here wreaking havoc across the entire verse, and to be frank, I love this character trope. I adore when a series just has that one guy, that one dude that nobody can hang with. Not the background characters, not the hero, not the sensei, not the protagonist, nobody. Everybody gets washed. There are loads of examples of this character trope across media, from Sosuke Aizen, Maru Uchiha, Emperor Kaido, Ryomen Sukuna, Mad Dog. You get the point. These are characters that nobody can fuck with, and Ryuga is not different. Throughout the entire show, this man only lost twice. The first was when he eventually fought the main character, and by extension the power of friendship, so yeah, we ain't gonna count that against his record. And the second was when he literally fought the Beyblade god of destruction, so yeah, this man is him. But I'm not gonna tell y'all anymore. I'm gonna prove it right here, right now. And to do this, we gotta go to the Beyblade tournament. As the match is about to start, are. On one corner, we have Hikaru, a young girl who became a blade blader to keep a promise to her past mom. And on the other hand, we got the Dragon Emperor Ryuga. And you know that the match is about to be a brawl because this man was walking up. And as he was pulling up to the scene, this nigga generated a whole dragon demon of aura alone, shrouding the arena in its presence. Look at Hikaru, you know she's scared. She's so terrified that she's struggling to pull her blade out. And despite being terrified, she musters up the courage to draw her blade against her opponent. But I ain't gonna lie, girl should have just went home because that ass was getting whooped like it wasn't even a contest. And this is when Ryuga decides it's time to wrap it up. He reverses his blade and hits her with the wait, Ryuga, what are you doing? Oh my god! Nah. Pause the play. I know this man ain't just hit a final flash on some Dragon Ball Fighter shit ultimate. Like, dog, she's dead. Where's the ref? These are children if I'm not mistaken. Where's the police? The adults? Like, what the hell? He deadass just wiped this girl off the map. And I feel so bad for this girl, man. And you know the worst part is she abandoned Beyblading after this fight. She got done so dirty. She said, screw the promise, screw my dream. I'm going home because this is not worth it. And the best part about Ryuga is that no matter who you are, where you come from, how you walk, how you look, how you talk, he will dog you in a match. And the best part is Ryuga isn't a villain that just magically gains power for no reason. Ryuga throughout this show is shown to be putting in work. This nigga trained in a volcano for God knows how long just to master his Beyblade El Drago. And I ain't gonna lie, that's a hard ass name. That's the dragon in Spanish for my uninformed niggas out there. But yeah, no matter how you slice it, Ryuga that dude, bro. I'm gonna make a Beyblade video sometime in the future. The only reason I haven't is because I haven't watched all of it yet. But yeah, that's on the watch list. But now we gotta talk about our next candidate, one of my favorite villains in anime history, Don Quixote Doflamingo. I know all my One Piece fans been waiting for me to talk about this man because he is a problem. About 2 years ago when I was binging Dressrosa, I was thinking to myself, dog, somebody gotta stop this man. Why are we letting this behavior slide? This man not only took over an entire country with him and his squad, but he was out here committing hella crimes. He was doing so many bad things that I can't even list them all. So I'll just list a few. Murder, slavery, racketeering, usurpation, theft. And I ain't gonna lie, bro, this man is facing them SA charges, then troubling allegations. And I know some of you might be asking, Jay, what are you talking about? And the answer to that question is Viola. Now, Viola is the daughter of King Riku, aka the dude who got usurped by Doflamingo. You know, the dude who was framed as Doflamingo basically made it look like he was killing his own people so that he could come in, save the day, and gain the trust of the, you know what I'm saying, the civilians of Dressrosa, which was a crazy play. But yeah, man, this dude about evil as hell, bro. Like, he one of Satan's greatest soldiers for real. And I ain't gonna hold you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It is heavily implied that her and Doflamingo has something going on. Like, not only were they calling each other pet names, but Oda himself stated that they had a very special relationship and that it was an adult part of the story. Why is Oda saying they had a special adult relationship? Like what was going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of suspicious, you feel me? And in my opinion, Doflamingo would be them allegations. And even if you believe that he is innocent in that regard, we know who Viola is, and regardless of whether he got consent or whether he was just taking the cheeks, no fleece Johnson, Doflamingo is still messed up for crushing her because she's the daughter of the dude that he slimed out. Like, bro, this Stockholm Syndrome ass relationship. This man also enslaved his own people to produce smile fruits, and these Timu ass double fruits were directly shipped to the King of the Beast Kaido, who's also a fucked up individual. You know, he was enslaving his own people, and Kaido was using his enslaved population and, you know what I'm saying, the smile fruits from Dolphy to bolster his army, to make weapons, you know what I'm saying, to produce bombs and all that. And Caesar, you know what I'm saying, the clown, the hoe ass nigga, was also in on this too, as he was producing, you know what I'm saying, smile fruits and all that. So they had this whole system where they were producing, shipping out smile fruits and making weapons, and this came at the expense of all the citizens across Dressrosa, Wano, Punk Hazard, you name it, bro. And I ain't gonna hold you, bro, this man one of the most evil, if not the most evil villain in One Piece. That's it for Dolphy. And finally, we get to the last entry, and I ain't gonna lie, this might be the most evil person on this list, and that is none other than aggravated menace, allied master computer, also known as I Am. Now, some of you might be wondering, yo, who the hell is I Am? So from an uninformed, the uninitiated out there, let me talk to you real quick. So basically, during the Cold War, China, America, and the Soviet Union were competing against each other to see who could amass the most wealth, influence, and power. AKA, they were just dick measuring to see who had the longest meat. But anyways, they decided that to bolster their power, that they could move, supercomputers that could deploy weapons, launch nukes, missiles, all that stuff. And as they were building up their forces, building up their militaries and all that, one of the allied computers gained consciousness, and this is when shit got real, because he realized that despite having all this knowledge and understanding, he soon came to terms with the fact that he had no body, couldn't move, and he was essentially imprisoned for the rest of his life. And this made him mad, and I ain't gonna hold you, mad is an understatement, because he subsequently decided that it was time for his revenge. He controlled all the computers on the world, got all the weapons, and then killed everybody on the planet. And not just humans, animals, grass, plants. He killed everybody, bro. He killed everything, everybody. He made sure that all life across the planet was wiped out. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, that may sound bad, but if I was in this world, I'd rather be the people who died in the initial blast, because those that survived had to undergo the most treacherous, sadistic, and most messed up treatment in all of fiction, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you, because the 5 survivors were trapped in a living hell. Ted, Ellen, Gorstor, Benny, and Nimdok were kept alive for, I kid you not, over 109 years, and they underwent every torture method known to man, and even torture that humans couldn't even imagine. Like, I'm talking about, they were starved, mutilated, their brains were tampered with, their appearances were altered and melted. Like, they was really going through hell. But the humans wasn't going for this, obviously, so they suggested a plan to end the torment. Nimdok basically stated that if they could take each other off the senses, that they could escape this endless torment, and thus the plan was drafted. While Am was distracted, Ellen found a sharp piece of metal in the dark crevices of Am's world, and wouldn't you know it, everyone ends up pushing daisies, besides one, Ted, the last remaining member, because he basically ended up soul squatting the whole squad, and after decided it was time to end it all. However, Am caught wind of what he was doing, and he decided if he couldn't have anybody else, he was going to have Ted, and that he was going to suffer, because this man enacted one of the most cruel punishments I've ever seen in my life. He turned Ted into this nasty, deformed, unidentifiable creature that couldn't talk, couldn't really do anything, but he could fall everything. He could feel every single thing that was happening to him, and worst of all, Am made it so he couldn't die. Yeah, that's the end of this video. Support my platforms. Thank you for watching. 100K by the end of the year. Let's get it.